Mary.
Mine.
Oh, God.
Mike Higgins in the business. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on Mike and Mike King here. He's part of the Mike King Biz Radio Network, which is ESPN Richmond 106.1, The Choice 105.3, as well as International Business Growth Radio, coming to you from the Mike King Biz Studio, which is the global epicenter of social enterprise business. So we're coming to you. This is the Springs Hour right here. So we got the crew in the house. So we got Mary, Amy, Lamar down there in Petersburg area. I'm up here in Richmond. Folks, welcome to the program.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
All righty. Let's see. So Lamar, let's go with the elevator pitch. We're just going to leave that to you.
Absolutely. So my name is Lamar Taliaferro. I'm the Director of Business Development for Poplar Springs Hospital. We are a behavioral health hospital in Petersburg, Virginia. We have a slew of services from acute to outpatient services at the Grove. We have a residential treatment center for adolescents. And also, we have a dedicated military hospital. If you or a family member is in need of services, you can feel free to give us a call at 866-546-2229. We could do an over-the-phone assessment.
All righty. And so we're here today. It is the holiday season. It is always a tough time for folks. Let's talk about a little bit about what people can do to alleviate the problems and what you guys do to help people get through some tough times.
Yeah, so I think holiday season's tough for a lot of people. A lot of, it brings up those that have passed away. So a lot of grief and loss, tragedy, traumas that occur, depression goes up, anxiety as well. So we have obviously a higher level of care for our acute inpatient crisis stabilization hospital. And then we also have our outpatient. So those that are just looking to get through some of the tough times of the holiday, they're recognizing that they're losing interest in things, not engaging with friends, withdrawing, isolating themselves, that they don't meet criteria for necessarily inpatient, but they can obviously go to our outpatient programs.
So Amy, really quickly, as a parent or as a person or a loved one, are those some of the things that we see that may be red flags as we're going into the holiday season? Because we just started, but it's going to get worse.
Mm-hmm. Yes, those are some of the warning signs that you can see, among others as well. Lack of sleep, not sleeping, loss of appetite,
decreased interest in things that you're normally interested in.
So a lot of times, so Mary, it's the things that we deal with year round. They're just escalated now because of the holiday. Is it the pressure? Is it the loneliness? What do you guys think? What is it that
it can actually be a combination of both? First, you have people that have lost loved ones. They may be spending the holidays alone this year with normal, normally they have family and friends over for the holidays or annual functions, and maybe they've lost a significant individual in their family, and now they're trying to go through this without that individual. And also a lot of the pressure with the economy now, and inflation, people trying to make sure that their families have a good Christmas, as well as the stress and anxiety of shopping in itself.
It is a tough time out there, but you guys have help across the board. Every level of help that a person needs, you guys have that. Explain some to our listeners, some of the programs that you guys have. So Lamar, you guys also have the military hospital that is for civilian. It is for dependents and military folks.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, so we have a 32-bed military hospital that basically is dedicated to the military and their families. So everyone on that unit is military affiliated. In addition, we have our residential treatment center, which is for adolescents 11 to 17. That is a 72-bed unit. And then we have acute and outpatient services. And we're lucky to have Amy here, who's actually the director of both programs.
Yes, our inpatient program is somebody that's more in a crisis state, that's a harm to themselves, harm to others. at that risk. So they're admitted, they have daily psychiatric evaluations, a lot of group focus. They have psychoeducational groups, nursing groups, therapy groups, activity therapy groups as well. 24/7 monitor. So they spend the night here, and typical length of stay is anywhere between 5 and 7 days.
And
So
I
Amy,
will jump in and
between
say that-
5 to 7 days, then the person gets out, and then they have, do they have those wraparound services at that point? Say, look at that, Lamar. I just dropped that
Yeah,
on you.
yes, we are looking at that continuum of care
Yes.
here at Poplar Springs. So we are definitely invested in growing our outpatient services here at Poplar Springs. So that is called the Grove at Poplar Springs. Is
Yeah.
that correct? So we are, and you've been there, Mike. So it's a
Yes.
beautiful building. We take in person and also those that are wish to do telehealth. So it's a hybrid as well for some of our programs. So we are open to accepting for our partial hospitalization program. So that is a day program from around 9 o'clock to about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They get a break for lunch, but they also have, psychoeducational groups. They get a nursing group that teaches more about medication management, hygiene, things like that. But a lot of skill-based groups to help them be able to cope with a lot of the stressors out there in our daily lives.
You guys
Yeah,
also have
and Mike-
evening programs too, don't you?
Yes, we have an evening intensive outpatient program that is 3 hours. So that goes to 5 to 8 p.m.
So
and
on a
Mike, I was
program
gonna
like
say
that, and that's for people who work, but they know that they need help and they can get it in the evenings. That's exactly what that is.
Correct.
So
Everyone's schedules are different. So we're trying to be flexible for those as well.
So Mary,
Mike-
with the conversation that we had in the past about young people losing a lot of time and the stressors right there, somebody brought that up to me in a conversation that, people who were 15 or 18 when the 15, 16, when the pandemic started, they've lost years. And really that's starting to see some of the stressors right there. Could you touch on that really quickly? And as we're going into the holiday season, I always find that interesting, and I think our listeners would find it interesting as well, like the time that's lost, those adolescent years.
Yeah, so during the pandemic, when we had a lot of the students that were at home doing their schooling online, a lot of the kids have become more dependent at communicating and socializing via the social media and their computers, and less face-to-face interactions. And so their social skill building skills are not as good as they were prior to the pandemic. And usually around the holidays, this will be one of the first holidays where people are actually able to really go and visit families and go to big parties and family events or functions of that nature. And so sometimes they have a lot of anxiety related to being in an environment where there's a lot of things going on and a lot of expectation for social interaction.
There you go. This is Mike King here. This is ESPN Richmond 106.1. We're here with our good folks down there at Poplar Springs Hospital. So something new and exciting that you guys would want our listeners know about. What's happening down there with you guys?
Lamar.
Yes, so I would say one, well, it's not new, but it's definitely exciting. If you have a family member or friend that is showing signs, we do take walk-ins at Poplar Springs. So they're able to walk into our patient access unit, which is run by Misty, and we can get them onto the acute unit. But the beauty is that after a 7 to 10 day stay, they can actually step down into our PHP program, which is Amy's department. And then we can work to get them back out into the community.
Yeah, really trying to push that continuum of care for those that meet the criteria for our programs.
So the way it works is they're in Misty's program first, and that is
No, Misty does she's the director of admissions. So she does all the pre-screenings for all of our patients that get admitted here into our facilities. So
So
she pre-screens them, makes sure that they meet criteria. So if somebody goes to Misty's department and they don't meet criteria for inpatient because they're not an immediate risk of harm to themselves or others, she can send that referral right to our PHP program because they need some assistance and support, but they just don't need that 24/7 continuum monitoring.
And so, Amy, the program, the departments that you oversee, what exactly are they?
That is our inpatient acute. So they would get admitted if they're a risk. They would get, Misty would admit them to our inpatient from acute, and our clinicians here on our acute side would work in discharging them into a step down program. So those step down programs are those PHP, IOP programs.
So the programs are stepped down, and that is it less intense?
Yes, less intensive programs. They get to come here to our facility at the Grove, or they can do it online. As of now, with insurances are accepting online as well. So they can have a Zoom account and they can participate from their home, or they can come in person, and then they participate in 3 to 5 hours of group services. And then they get to go about their day.
And see, when they come into the acute services, Mike, they come in for stabilization. So we get them on medications if that's appropriate, get them started in the process of doing groups. But that's like putting a Band-Aid on. So that's why the PHP and the IOP program is so important, that when they're discharged from here, that they're following up with some kind of a program that will provide longer lasting services for actually learning all the tools and all the skills and processing all those things over a longer period of time, which doesn't actually require them to be here 24/7.
Right, because our PHP, the 5 days a week, you're typically in that anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, and then you can step down to our IOP, which is anywhere from that 4 to 6, 8 weeks.
Can you talk about what it's like when a person is ready to move on? And to it, for them, it's a step down, but it seems like that's a step up, like that's a celebration time.
Yeah, from the step down from our inpatient to our outpatient.
Yeah, it
It
seems
is a
like that would be
celebration.
something like, all right, I'm
It is.
looking.
It is a celebration. That means that they've been able to stabilize on their own, engage and commit to their treatment, and are optimistic, and they see hope again, right? It's all about instilling that hope. So they see hope to continue their services. So having them go from inpatient to our outpatient, we're familiar with them, right? We know their behaviors. We know the reasons why they're here. The same doctor might have been their same doctor. So we all work as a team here and trying just to make more of that flow easier. And not to be said, if somebody is increasingly getting depressed and has suicidal thoughts, things like that in a PHP, then we step them up. We just did that. I want to say last week, somebody was in our PHP program that was having some severe thoughts about harming himself. So we got him right from the Grove and picked him up and brought him right to our facility for inpatient.
So the process, it's as you say, what's that called? A continuum of care. It is adjustable to go either way. If they're doing better, we can loosen the restrictions. If we need help, we can step them back up again.
Right.
Correct.
And all having the same familiar faces as well.
I guess that's the important part, because you guys get to know the patients. You know, it's knowing and having a familiarity with people. It helps with the care, because you know when they're stressed out, when some of the things that they need, as opposed to, the people are just out there hurting on their own.
Yes.
So
Yes.
on the mic with Mike, we're here with our good friends over at Poplar Springs. Lamar, how can people find you out there?
Yep, you can give us a call toll free at 866-546-2229. As I said, we could do an over the phone assessment. And also, we work with several employers throughout the area. So if you have your EAP benefit, you can also give us a call, and we can utilize that here for services on our outpatient.
Sometimes employees really don't take advantage of that employee assistance.
Very true.
They don't. All righty, so let's talk about all the cool things happening down at Poplar Springs. What do you guys have going on now? You guys always doing things in the community. You guys are always doing some really cool things. What's happening?
Yeah, so we're very much in the Christmas spirit. So we're actually going to be involved in 2 parades, the Colonial Heights Parade, and then also the Petersburg Parade coming up soon. So we're putting together a float for those 2 events. And then other than that, we're kind of doing a lot of giving back to the community. We're feeding the homeless a few times over this month and next month. So this is the season for giving.
It is a season for giving. All right, so Lamar, really quickly, let's get down with the Rotary information. That's a big part of what you guys do.
Yes. So one, I have Mary is actually going to be one of our guest speakers.
Mary, watch out. Mary, watch out.
Basically, because of
she'll be the next president.
Right. I'm sure you've heard about, I guess this flu that's going around, the bronchitis. So we actually invited Mary to come speak to us just about, infection control and so forth.
So Mary, go ahead. It's your time. Let's talk about that hand washing.
Yes, absolutely. We got to make sure that people are washing their hands, keeping their hands out of their face. Definitely, if you have not gotten your flu vaccination, please, I encourage people to get the flu vaccination. Stay up to date on the COVID booster vaccinations. We now have a newer respiratory infection CDC has put out. There's also another infection going around right now for the younger kids, toddlers, and those that were preemies. We're seeing a lot of RSV in those individuals. And so we're also getting a spinoff of that for the adults who are now suffering from a respiratory virus that is not COVID or the flu. The CDC put out there was a H3N2 virus similar to the H1N1 virus that we battled back in 2008. That has now arisen. There are 5 cases now in the country across 3 states. So definitely get your flu vaccination, get your COVID vaccination booster, wash your hands, keep your hands out of your face. And if you're sick, please stay home. So we don't want people giving it to other people.
That is true. So Mary, my grandson showed up at our house and he looked shady.
I hope you sent him home.
No, he didn't. We will do that the next time.
Yes.
Yes. That was 3 weeks ago. We have been wiped out for the past 3 weeks. When one gets a little bit better and think we made it, nope. So I put out a public service announcement for all the grandparents out there. When they show up at the door and they don't look correct,
shady,
you gotta go. Because for the past 3 weeks, and one of the great parts about the pandemic was wearing masks. It was like everybody is masked up. I'm going back to that point almost. I never thought that I'd say that, but you know what? Yeah, there's a possibility. It's a lot going around. So Mary, you say if you're sick, stay home, wash your hands.
Keep your hands out of your face. Do the right thing.
Do the right thing, like Spike said, because if not, you will be home and you will be sick. All righty, Lamar, really quickly, anything else you want our listeners to know?
Nope, I think that's just about it.
So, Lamar, the scuttlebutt on the street says that you are going to be Santa in those parades. Is that correct?
You're gonna what?
I was gonna be Santa in the parade.
Oh, you're gonna be Santa?
No. That is not the case.
That's not the case?
I can though. I can be Santa.
I'm
I was actually Santa last year.
Okay, well that is good. So, ladies and gentlemen, Poplar Springs, they are always out there doing amazing things in the community. Amy, any last words of wisdom for us?
I don't think so. Besides just, remember Poplar Springs, and if you're going through a crisis, or even if you're not going through a crisis, but still want that support, that we have our partial hospitalization program.
All righty, appreciate it. You guys take care. On the mic with Mike, Lamar, Amy, you guys, thank you for your time. And tell Mary we said hello, and we'll talk to her soon. Hey, remind Mary, tell her to have Jackson get in touch with us. Hey, Mary, we need some star power around here.
Yes, I got you covered, man.
You got the
I got you
hookup.
covered.
You got the
Yes.
hookup.
I do got the hookup. I will be speaking to him. He's actually going to be in Virginia for Christmas holidays right around the 20th.
You got
So
to
if
come
you
to the
want him in
studio.
person, I get him on person.
There you go. All
Huh?
right. So, all right. Tell him we said, hey.
I'll
Thanks for
definitely
everything.
bring him to the studio. We'll make me and Lamar will make it happen.
Good enough. Appreciate it. Thanks. Now, you guys said take care. On the mic, Poplar Springs, Mary, Amy, as well as Lamar, the best in the business. We got to run, folks. Take care now. Have a good one. Thanks now.
Thank you.
Bye.